Oh, here's the eraser. That if the problem that the people who classify themselves as white, if the problem that they face is white supremacy for the purpose of white genetic survival. Are you with me?
Right.
So this is the key. This tiny group of people, this tiny minority of people on the planet are trying to survive genetically. And so their thing, a lot of people say, oh no, their thing is money. They make money. They don't make melanin. See, they manufacture money. But God makes melanin. Now they didn't have it, and so their struggle is to survive genetically. Now, black men and black women, we are all equal people. We are not the same. Women are not the same as men, and men are not the same as women. The critical issue of white genetic survival is related when it comes to black, brown, red, and yellow people, is that black, brown, red, and yellow women cannot cause white genetic annihilation. See how quiet it is? The women are offended. No. Women cannot force men to have sexual intercourse. Is that true? See, you can entice. Nice perfume, nice clothes, nice words, entice. But if you try to force a man to have sexual intercourse, you're going to whip out your M16 rifle and say, you better come on. And if you frighten him, what's going to happen? See, now these are basic facts of physiology. It doesn't require anybody to make this up. This is basic physiology, so that women cannot force sexual intercourse. Men, white, black, brown, red, and yellow, can impose sexual intercourse. See, I'm not talking about rapists, but I'm talking about they can impose sexual intercourse. So that the critical issue of white genetic survival comes down and attacks males differentially than it does females. You see, in other words, a white male can decide, now I want to make some lighter colored black people. So I'm going to have sex with a black woman. That's his decision. The woman cannot, the black female, the non-white female cannot impose that decision on any white male or any non-white male. But males can impose this decision. And so because of all of the levels of color, black, brown, red, and yellow, black is the highest level of melanin pigmentation. Brown, red, and yellow, these are lesser levels of the same pigment. So that the white people understood, the white collective understood, if we are to survive genetically, we must impose control on men, and we impose it directly in proportion to the amount of pigment that you can produce. So that growing up on the south side of Chicago, you learn, if you are black, get back. If you are brown, stick around. If you are yellow, you're mellow. If you're white, you're right. Now, I was just in London, and I went through this, and all the people who, from Africa and the Caribbean, it went right through. They know it, too. All of the non-white people all over the world, Asia, Africa, the islands of the South Seas, wherever, where there has been confrontation with white, everybody knows how the colors stack up relative to threat to white genetic survival, although people never understood that the reason that the colors had to be put down in such a way was related to white fear of white genetic annihilation. So because of that problem, imposing major stress, now there's stress on all of us, males and females alike, but there is horrendous stress on the men because the men present the threat to white genetic survival. Right here in this city, long time ago, 3149 Ellis. But my parents and my grandmother were in our dining room and they were talking about somebody had been lynched. I was a little girl, very little. They were talking about somebody had been lynched. And they were kind of talking in hushed tones, and I remember asking my grandmother, "Granny, why did they do that?" My grandmother said, "Well, because some people have to act ugly." Now, lynching and castration means what? To kill and to attack the genitals of the black man. See, I always wonder, well, what is that all about? See, black men may do many things. You've never heard tell in history of a black man attacking a white man's genitals. It's no history. It's no history of people of color attacking white people's genitals. But there is global history of people who classify themselves as white attacking the genitals of non-white men. So you say, why? Because the brain computer wants to understand in depth so that it can move with greater power. So we say, why? And we end up with this. Here's the black man's genitals. Attack this and destroy this. Why? Because in the testicles is what? The genetic material. And the genetic material that can cause white annihilation. Do you understand? Doesn't it make sense?
Absolutely.
Makes sense to me. Now beyond that as the white collective looked at the black male and says, he has weapon that can destroy me. He has weapon that can cause me genetic annihilation. So the white brain computer said, I must create weapon that can do same thing. Must create weapon can do same thing. Must create weapon. So indeed they did create a weapon. And if you look at, here is the lateral view of the male genitalia. Can you all see it?
Absolutely.
I'll ask for a model.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, but look at this. Here's the front view of the male genitalia. Here is the lateral view. Turn the lateral view around 90 degrees and you have that. See, if you turn this around, just turn it. And then what is this but this? That's a gun. Do you see? Can you see that? Oh, wow, they can't see it.
Some models back.
Yes, I need a model. This. Does that help? See? A volunteer. They want a volunteer. Just imagine, think of the man standing with no clothes on. You see his genitalia. You see two testicles and a phallus, penis, okay? Now, a side view is like one testicle and phallus, and if you turn it around, you can see that it is the same as the gun. Are you with me? That side needs a model, okay. Now,